spectacles, testicles, brandy, cigars. You're all popes. You're all absolutely infallible. I have the authority to appoint anybody a Discordian pope because I'm a Discordian pope. The first rule after you become a Discordian pope is to excommunicate every Discordian pope you meet. This is based on the basic Discordian principle: we Discordians must stick apart. Discordians don't have dogmas, which are absolute beliefs. We have katmas, which are relative meta-beliefs. And the central Discordian katma is, as I said before, any affirmation is true in some sense, false in some sense, meaningless in some sense, true and false in some sense, true and meaningless in some sense, false and meaningless in some sense, and true and false and meaningless in some sense. And if you repeat this 666 times, you will achieve supreme enlightenment in some sense.
Robert Anton Wilson was a polymath genius and philosopher, occultist, author, and comedian. In this video, we are going to look at an obscure article written by Wilson for Gnosis magazine entitled Synchronicity, Isomorphism, and the Implicate Order.
I tried to get some idea of what might be the process which was implied by the mathematics of the quantum theory. And this process is what I call unfoldment, that the mathematics itself suggests a movement in which everything, in which any particular element of space may have a field which unfolds into the whole, and the whole folds and enfolds into it. Right? So you have this movement, and I call this the implicate or enfolded order, which unfolds into the explicate order where everything is separate. Now the implicate order, everything is internally related to everything. Everything contains everything, right? So everybody has many experiences of this implicate order. The most obvious one is ordinary consciousness, where consciousness enfolds everything that you know or see, right? So you're not acting mechanistically in the sense of being pushed and pulled by objects in the surroundings, but rather according to your consciousness of them you act. So consciousness is really our most immediate experience of this implicate order. And you might think of nets of consciousness that are finer and finer, or we may think of capturing finer and finer aspects of the implicate order. Right? I think there's an intelligence that's implicit there, you see, to say that a kind of intelligence unfolds. Right? The source of intelligence is not necessarily in the brain, you see, the ultimate source, but much more enfolded into the whole. Right? Now, the question of whether you want to call it God, that depends on what you mean by the word, you see, because taking it as a personal God might restrict it in some way.
The article draws on ideas related to symmetry from mathematics and geometry, while also offering some history and anecdotes from the life of Carl Gustav Jung. I personally suspect that synchronicity is facilitated by the existence of a higher order of symmetry that extends from our internal to our external experiences, and these experiences are precipitated when we build a bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind, a process Jung called individuation. The symmetry is alluded to by the popular glyph of synchronistic experiences 1111. This article offers solid support for this theory in more technical depth than I could have offered.
The symmetries of the universe. There are many complex laws that seemingly govern our universe. Conservation of energy, of momentum, general relativity, the standard model of particles. Yet all this complexity emerges from a deeper, purer concept, of which all these laws are only consequences: symmetry. In mathematics, a symmetry is a transformation which leaves an object unchanged. Studying the symmetries of the universe allows us to understand in a deep way the origin of the laws which govern it. It is because the universe has symmetries that the objects it contains, in order to respect these symmetries, obey physical laws. Be it conservation of energy or momentum, objects obey these laws only to respect underlying symmetries, intrinsic to the universe.
During the course of the reading, when we encounter interesting subjects such as Finnegan's Wake, a nearly impossible work where James Joyce used polyglot and portmanteau words to create a spiraling metaphysical masterpiece in holographic prose, we will zoom in to examine these supporting subjects in depth. Before we begin, though, we are demonetized, so please like, share, and subscribe, and consider becoming a patron. Your contribution allows us to continue providing revolutionary, world-changing content. Synchronicity, Isomorphism, and the Implicate Order, Notes on Jung and Quantum Mechanics by Robert Anton Wilson.
Let go, let go, let go.